Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello everybody, hello grade 6. Today we'll study the exponents. What's exponent? What's base? We studied before in grade 5 the meaning of the exponent. If we have 3 times 3, now 3 times 3 equals what? Equals 9. But we need another form. 3 is repeated 2 times. So we can write it as 3 raised to the power 2. We can read it as 3 squared. 3 times 3 times 3. Now 3 is repeated 3 times. We can write it as 3 raised to the power 3. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. 3 is repeated, mister. How many times? 4 times. We can write it as 3 raised to the power 4. Now we will start from the last form or the last example. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. We can write it as 3 raised to the power 4. We can find its value. 3 times 3 equals 9. 3 times 3 equals 9. 9 times 9 equals what? Equals 81. Now we have 3 forms. What about the first form, the second form, and the third form? The first form, guys, is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. 3 is repeated 4 times. It's called the expanded form. Expanded form. We can use repeated multiplication. The second form is called exponential form. Exponential form. And the value or the final value is 81. We can, mister, write 81 as 3 raised to the power 4. 81 is called what? The standard form. The standard form. Or the evaluation value. Okay? So, mister, what about the exponential form? This form is the new form. 3 raised to the power 4 is equal to 81. 3 is called what? The number or the larger number in handwriting. It's called base. Base. And what about, mister, the top number or the small number in handwriting? It's called what? It's called exponent. Exponent. Or power. Power. Or index. Index. So we will use exponent or power. Now, guys, we can write 81 as what? As 3 raised to the power what? 3 raised to the power 4. For example, how can we write 81, mister, in exponential form with the base 3? We studied that 81 is equal to 9 times 9 by using factor 3. We studied in grade 5. 9 is, mister, 3 times 3. 9 is 3 times 3. Now, circle the prime factors. 3, 3, 3, 3. So, we can write 81 as 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3, mister, equals 9. 3 times 3 equals 9. 9 times 9, we get 81. Now, how can we write the exponential form? 3 is repeated 4 times. We can write it as 3 raised to the power 4. Now, 81 equals 3 raised to the power what? Yes, to the power 4. Or 3 raised to, mister, the power 4. It's called, mister, the fourth power of 3. Another example. What about 32? Is equal to 2 raised to the power what? How can you find, mister, the exponent? Just keep your eye on 32. 32, we can write it as, from multiplication table, guys, 4 times 8. We can write 4 as 2 times 2. And we can write 8 as 2 times 4. What about 4? We can write it as 2 times 2. Now, circle the prime factors. 2, 2, 2, 2. Now, Mr. 32, we can write it as a repeated factor of 2, or the repeated multiplied number is 2. So we can write it as 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we can write Mr. 32 as 2 raised to the power what? Yes, 5. Why 5, Mr.? Because we repeat 2 in multiplication 5 times. Now we can say that 32 is equal to 2 raised to the power 5. Now we can find the exponential form of any number. We are using the idea of factorization. Just factorize the number to its prime factors. Let's have another example. What about Mr. 64? 64 is 2 raised to the power what? By the same way, guys. Look, 64. We can say 64 is equal to 8 times 8. What about 8? 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. We studied. And it is 2 times 2 times 2. Now, 2 is repeated how many times? 6 times. So we can say that 64 is equal to 2 raised to the power 6. We studied. Now, what's the exponential form of 64? With the base 2 is 2 raised to the power 6. But maybe he will ask you 64 is equal to 8 raised to the power what? Look, the base is not a prime number. It's 8. It's easy, mister. He studied that 64 is 8 times 8. Now 8 is repeated how many times? Is repeated, mister, 2 times. Now we can say that 64 is equal to what? Yes, 8 raised to the power 2. Now the missing number is 2. The missing exponent, guys, exponent is what? Exponent is 2. What about 8 is called what? 8 is called base. Don't forget, base, base. What about this form? 8 squared is what? Is called what? The exponential form of 64. The exponential form of 64. Mister, if we have a 0 power, like 2 raised to the power 0 equals what? 3 raised to the power 0 equals what? 2/3 raised to the power 0 equals what? Any number except 0 raised to the power 0 equals what? Equals 1. So 2 raised to the power 0 equals what? 1. 3 raised to the power 0 equals what? 1. 2/3 raised to the power 0 equals 1. So don't forget, guys, any number raised to the power 0 equals 1. We studied in grade 5. How can we multiply by 10, 100, 1000? First, 10 is repeated 1 time. So we can write it as 10 raised to the power 1. 100 is 10 times 10. We can write it as 10 raised to the power 2. What about 1000? 1000 is 10 times 10 times 10. We can write it as 10 raised to the power 3 and so on. Now we will multiply a number by 10, 100, 1000. But we will use the exponent form. The exponential form of 10 is 10 raised to the power 1. The exponential form of 100, 10 squared. The exponential form of 1000 is 10 raised to the power 3. You can read it as 10 cubed. For example, 2.7 times 10 raised to the power 1 equals what? 2.7, the same number, times 10 squared equals what? 2.7 times 10 raised to the power 3 equals what? 2.7 times 10 raised to the power 4 equals what? Mister, when we multiply, just move the decimal point to the right. How many digits according to the exponent of 10? The exponent is 1, so just move the decimal point to the right one digit. So we get what? 27. You can say 27 point. Means what? Means 27. So we have a whole number. What about the exponent of 10 is 2? We will move the decimal point to the right. How many digits now? 2 digits. We have 1 digit, which is 7. So you have to insert 1 0. So we get 27 and both 0. So we get what now? 270. The exponent of 10 is 3. Move the decimal point to the right 3 digits. We have 1 digit, so you have to add 2 zeros. So we get 27, 0, 0. Now, the product is what? 2,700. 2.7 times 10 raised to the power 4. Now, just move the decimal point to the right 3 digits or 4 digits, 4 digits. But we have 1 digit, so we have to insert 3 zeros. So we get 27 and write 4 zeros or 3 zeros. Yes, 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. So we get 27,000. How can we evaluate Mr. 3 over 8 raised to the power 3? You can read it as 3 over 8 cubed equals what? Means 3 over 8 times 3 over 8 times 3 over 8. Now you have to, Mr. repeat 3 over 8 3 times. Just multiply, Mr. the numerators 3 times 3 times 3 over 8 times 8 times 8. So we get 27 over what? Yes, 8 times 8, 64. 64 times 8, you can find it directly, so we get 512. So the value of 3 over 8 cubed is equal to 27 over 512. So what about 1 over 4 raised to the power 2 equals what? Means 1 over 4 times 1 over 4. So we get 1 over what now? 1 over 16 and so on. First example, he said write 81 as a repeated multiplication of 3's. Then write it as a power, mister. Look, we studied 81. We can write it as 9 times 9. 9 is 3 times 3. 9 is 3 times 3. Now, we can write 81 as what? We can write 81 as 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Now, 3 is repeated how many times? 4 times. We can write it as 3 raised to the power 4. Now, mister, we write 81 as a repeated multiplication and write its power. Its power is what? Yes, its power, mister, is 4. Don't forget this. Its power is 4. And what about 3 raised to the power 4 is called what? It's called the exponential form. Don't forget. Exponential form. Exponential form. Write 125 as a repeated multiplication. Mister, 125 is divisible by 5. Now, 125 is 5 times what? Just divide. 125 divided by 5, it's easy, mister. Mental math is equal to 25. But what about 25? We can write 25 as 5 times 5. Now, 125 is 5 times 5 times 5. We can write it as 5 raised to the power 3. Now, its power is what? Its power is 3, or its exponent is 3. Now, Mr. Number 7, we can write 125 as 5 raised to the power 3. Mister, its power is what? Its power is 3. Number 8, look. 0.75 times 0.75 times 0.75 times 0.75 times 0.75. We don't need the value. We are asking about the power. The exponential form 0.75 is repeated how many times? Just count. 0.75 times 0.75 times 0.75 times 0.75. Just count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now times 0.75. Now we can write 0.75 raised to the power 5. Now its power is what? Its power is 5. He's asking about the exponent. And 0.75 is the exponential form of the repeated multiplication. What's 3 over 8 times 3 over 8 times 3 over 8? As Mr. written as a power. 3 over 8 is repeated 3 times. We can write it as 3 over 8 raised to the power 3. But he didn't ask about the value. Evaluate each power. He said evaluate, so we need to write the value. We will use the repeated multiplication. 1 over 6 raised to power 2, or 1 over 6 squared means 1 over 6 times 1 over 6. How can we multiply two fractions? We studied 1 times 1 equals 1, 6 times 6 equals 36. Now the value is 1 over 36. We studied that any number except 0 raised to the power 0 equals what? Yes, equals 1. So the value is 1. 0.1 raised to the power 5. How can we find its value? It's easy. Just we will repeat 0.1, Mr. 5 times. 0.1 times 0.1 times 0.1 times 0.1 times 0.1. Now, how can we multiply decimals? We studied just ignore the decimal point and multiply. So we get Mr. 1. Now, you have to insert the decimal point after how many digits from the right? After 5 digits. Why, Mr.? According to the exponent, or according to the number of decimal places. We have 5 decimal places. So we have 1, so you have to insert 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we get 0.0. So the answer is 0.00001. But we can say, guys, that, or we can write 0.1 raised to the power 5 as a fraction. So we get 1 over 10 raised to the power 5. Now I will repeat 1 5 times, so we get 1. 10 raised to the power 5 we studied equals 100,000. Now, Mr. 1 divided by 100,000, we can write the decimal form as 0.00001. It's Mr. 1 part out of 100,000. 7 cubed means what? I will repeat 7 3 times. So we get 7 times 7 times 7. How can we find its value? It's easy. 7 times 7 equals what? Equals 49 times 7. Just multiply. 7 times 9 equals what? Yes, 63. You have to study multiplication table, guys. I said many times. 63. Write 3 and keep 6. 7 times 4 equals what? 28. 28, Mr. plus 6 equals what, guys? Yes, 34. So we get 343. He will ask you, guys. If he ask you, he can ask you about, Mr. the exponential form of this number. If I say 343 equals 7 raised to the power what? You have to say 7 raised to the power 3. Next, how can we evaluate this expression? 4.5 times 10 raised to the power 4. Keep your eye on the power. The power is 4. So you have to move the decimal point to the right 4 digits. We have 1 digit. Now you have to insert 3 zeros. So get 4, 5, and write 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. Now we get 45,000. 0.6 times 10 raised to the power 6. I will move the decimal point to the right 6 digits. We have 1 digit, so you have to insert 5 zeros. So we get 6 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we have 600,000. 3.4 times 10 raised to the power 1. We have 0 power. What's the value of 10 raised to the power 0? The value is 1. Now, mister, we get 3.4 times 1. We studied any number times 1 equals the same number. So we get 3.4. He said, write the exponent for each expression. He's asking about the exponent. Number of times repeated. 9 times 9 times 9 times 9. 9 is repeated how many times, guys? 4. Now the exponent is 4. 1.2 raised to the power 9. 1.2 is the base. What's the name of 9? 9 is the exponent or the power, we said. Now, mister, the exponent is what? The exponent is 9. 1 over 6 times 1 over 6 times 1 over 6. 1 over 6 is repeated how many times? 3 times. Now, the exponent is 3. 7 is repeated how many times? Is mister 1 time. Now, we get 1 time. Look, if I write 3, we can write it as 3 raised to the power 1. 7 raised to the power 1. But, mister, we didn't write 1 here. Why? Because if the exponent, guys, is 1, it will be invisible. If I write x, so x, what's the power of x? Is 1. But, mister, we will not write, just write x. So, mister, the exponent is invisible. We said, evaluate each power or expression. We need to find the final value. Don't forget, 8 cubed is 8 times 8 times 8. 8 times 8 equals 64. 64 times 8 is equal to 512. 1 over 5 raised to the power 4. So I will repeat 1 over 5, not 5, guys. Pay attention. 1 over 5 times 1 over 5 times 1 over 5 times 1 over 5. So we get 1 over 625. The value of 0.6 squared, we will use the repeated multiplication. We get 0.6 times 0.6. Ignore the decimal point and multiply. 6 times 6 equals 36. Don't forget to insert the decimal point after 2 digits from the right. 1 over 4 squared is 1 over 4 times 1 over 4. So we get 1 over what? 1 over 16. Any number raised to the power 0 equals 1. Don't forget this. 6.2 times 10 raised to the power 3. Just move the decimal point to the right 3 digits. So we get 62 and double 0. So we get Mr. 6,200. Thanks for watching. See you soon, guys.